You want the Mehendi? Ooh la 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 la. Drawing for we can make a drawing for the doggy. Yeah, you want that? So, today, as I promised, I will explain you how to make a nice drawing based on flower pattern. First of all, let's try to make a simple flower pattern just with a pencil on a piece of paper. Look, the main part of the flower, like the center of the flower, can be a dot, it can be a spiral, it can be several circles, like a dot, a circle, and one more circle, and one more circle. It can be whatever amount of circles. Then it's very good to put some little elements, like little flowers, which I will call arcs. They look like this. You know, like everybody drew flowers when they were kids, it was something like this. So in Mehendi, basically it can be the same. So, for example, we take spiral as a center, and then we put some arcs. They can basically be different sizes. It can be like this, with bigger arcs. Just depends on what type of drawing you want, what size you want, and many factors. So the beginning is usually a dot or a spiral or a circle and some kind of arcs. Can be little arcs, can be bigger arcs. Then the most important part of the flower is the leaf. There are several types of leaves. The first one, which in my point of view is the easiest, is like a little heart. So it looks like this. Yeah, everybody drew hearts when we were kids, so it looks really like a little heart. Imagine we can add it here. Voila! Our flower already becomes really like a flower. It can be whatever amount of leaves you want. They can be smaller, they can be bigger, it can be 4, 6, 8, 10, whatever quantity you want. Then there is another type of leaves, which is a bit more tricky to draw, and it looks like this. It's very important not to make this edge sharp like this. Like this, it's not so nice. It's better when the edges are smooth, so the flower will look more tender and nicer. So what we can do with the other type of leaves is to add here like a second row. What? Or we can use them as a first row and to draw a new flower look like this. We make spiral, we make some arcs, and we start from this type of leaves. One life hack: if you want to make the flower really well shaped, you can start from putting one leaf here, one leaf just in front, to divide the space in a good way. And then you just divide this into parts, and add a flower on each place. You add a new leaf. Yeah, so it will look like this. Then you can put, for example, hearts, or you can put the same type of the leaf, just smaller. So there are a lot of variants. You can choose what you like. And also there is one more type, which is one of my favorite because it looks not so usual. It looks like this. You make a little spiral, and you make one more little spiral, and then you put a line to join them between themselves. So you have some, in my point of view, more beautiful type of leaf, which will make your design trickier, more sophisticated. So I really like to use this type. I could say that it's my favorite. Also, the next important step is that you should put some small traces on every leaf to create shade, like this, to make it more vivid, not to make it just two lines, but to put some life inside of it. So it can be coming from down to up, or coming from up to down. With pen it's not so visible. I will show you with henna next. So that's more or less the basic stuff you should know about the flowers. Now we will try to do the same, just not with a pen, but with a henna comb. Here I have a henna comb, I have a napkin. I will need it to clean the edge if henna is not coming. You see, now it's coming perfectly. So we will start. What will we do? We will make the spiral as a base. Then we add arcs. Yeah, you can see that with henna it's slower than with a pen, and it needs more concentration. So yeah, you can see that we already have more or less the central part. Then we have to choose what type of flowers or what type of leaves we want to use. I prefer to use hard looking leaves first. In my point of view, they are very good, like the first layer. So we do as I taught you. We make a leaf, and we make one right in front. Then we divide the rest into pieces and continue. Also, you should know that it's always trickier to draw with henna paste on paper, because you cannot correct anything. You draw and you cannot remove henna from the paper. when you are drawing on the skin, you have something like 20-30 seconds to remove what you don't like, and it will not appear on the drawing. Also, I advise you to make some lines more visible, like to add several layers of henna to have some kind of balance between fat lines and thin lines. It also adds volume to the drawing and looks very nice. So here you see I add one more layer in the upper part of the leaves to make it fatter. Yeah, done. Then I will add some few lines to make the drawing more vivid. Just several traces, but they will give volume to our drawing. They would put life in it. They are actually very important. Yeah, so more or less the half of the flower is already done. Then we have to choose what other type of leaves we will do. I will put my favorite. So what I do, I choose the middle part of the leaf and the middle part of the other leaf, so it would be the sides of my new leaf. I make a spiral, another spiral, and I put a line to join them. And I continue to do it with the rest of the leaves. Also, I can give you one more life hack, that when you draw, and if your main hand you use is the right hand, it's always better to make the drawing on the left first, so you will not need to find a place to put your hand. Like, imagine if here I already have the drawing and need to continue here, I would not have any space to put my hand. It will be very not comfortable. So I always try to make a drawing from left to right, as my working hand is right. So on the contrary, if your working hand is left, you should try to draw from right to left. Yeah, we make these spirals. You can notice that the leaves have different sizes. It's totally not a problem. You know, in nature you will never find any flower which will have all leaves totally equal. Some of them are bigger, some are smaller, they can have some different shape, but still all flowers are beautiful in nature. That's why don't worry or don't get upset if your leaves are not ideally same. So I finish the last. And join the parts. So you can see that we already have a nice drawing. We can decorate it with different things, like with some dots, with some lines. We can also put these little lines to make it looking more natural. So I add them. And voila, our flower is ready. What we can add now, we can add several leaves, not to have just lonely flower, but to have some more interesting composition. So I will add one leaf here. This leaf looks exactly like the leaves which all kids draw when they are little. So I think you will have no problem in repeating it. We will put one more leaf which will look as if it's growing behind the first one. So I just imagine that I'm drawing this. And continue the leaf. So yeah, you can imagine that there is a line here. The central part. You see here I have just like a big dot, and if I was drawing on the skin I could delete it. As I'm drawing on the piece of paper, I can't remove it. So yeah, we have several leaves. What else can we add is some dots, making kind of a chain. It also looks very nice usually. You can just, for example, if you are drawing a flower on your wrist, it will look like a kind of bracelet. So we draw a line and we just put dots. They can be different size, some can be bigger, they can have different distance between themselves. You just put them the way you like. There is no rules about putting dots, but you should always know that dots make every drawing nicer. It becomes more sophisticated. So yeah, we added dots. And now I think that this part of the drawing is quite full and this part looks empty comparing to it. So I will add some leaf here as well. And it will be trickier because, as I told you, it's always better to draw from left to right. I didn't follow my own advice. It's good that I'm drawing on a paper so I can turn it, and it's cool. But if you are drawing on a person, it will be way more complicated. Each drawing should have balance. Like you can't draw a lot of stuff on the right side and draw nothing on the left side. should be harmony. And one more. Voila! So now I think that the drawing is quite complete. You can draw it on different parts of the body. You can draw it on the neck, on the back, on the hip. It's quite suiting the whatever place you like. It's very easy to make it even if you are a starting master, and it looks really nice because the flowers are like the main symbol in Mehendi. Flowers are very feminine, they suit whatever condition. You can make such Mehendi when you go for holidays, you can make it when you go for a wedding or to a restaurant, and it will be fine in any situation. So yeah guys, if I get some review from you, it will give me more energy to shoot a new video as soon as possible. Bye bye, Marcus.